take a look at the new Riot 1800.4 RGB amplifier by B2 Audio. It can never be too loud, presented by Big Jeff Audio, where you go for big sound.
Hey, it's Big Jeff coming to you with another unboxing, and these are the new Riot RGB amps that are going to be here mid-January. And we're going to do an unboxing
where you can see it before you buy it.
dynoing to see if this thing does what it says it does or does more. Also, we're going to be giving these away. B2 Audio USA and B2 Audio sent us out amps before they even got here to do the unboxings and the testing, and also to give them away. Hit that like button right now before you forget. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. It doesn't hurt you anything, doesn't cost you anything, and make sure to leave a comment. And most of all, share this out. Support anybody on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. It doesn't cost you anything to at least support us, and we'll keep doing this. Like it or not, we're here to stay, and we'll get better and better at it. So hit that like button, leave a comment, and share this out. Hit the subscribe or follow us on Big Jeff. Let's do the unboxing. So let's start off. This is the Riot 1800.4 RGB. Yes. So new Riot RGB amps came out. There's a 2500.1 and the 1800.4. They are going to be a MAP price of $399.95. Might say, well, that seems kind of expensive for an 1800 watt, but I'm sure when we get on the dyno, you're going to see that's worth it. Second thing in this box is built-in RGB. You don't need a Bluetooth adapter. You don't need a remote. There is a button on there to control it, and we're going to check that out. And a few other things. So one, it's a very small footprint, which we're about to break this out of the box. And I want to go over a few things first. This is rated, we'll do 2 ohms stereo, and it's rated 14.4 to do 450 watts times 4. And at 4 ohms, it'll do 300 watts times 4. Now, the cool thing is it is bridgeable because this is a Class D, and you can bridge either side or both. And it says it'll do 900 watts at 4 ohm. Yeah, so I don't know. Think about the price now. You could run a small system, a sub or a couple 8s on one side, mids and highs on the other, or you can use these amps to run a ton of mids and highs, being that you can load it down to 2 ohms. But let's take a look at this thing. First thing to notice, and I went ahead and signed this box already because this will be the one that is given away as long as I don't blow it up during the dyno. So far, I haven't blown any B2 Audio amps up because they're pretty strong, but packaged real nice. Cool thing too, so you can see the LED, guess what? It is plexiglass front, and you can see how small this footprint is. There's a lot of stuff stuffed in here to make that happen. With all B2 Audio, you get a nice B2 Audio sticker. And these also have high to low inputs. So if you watch the video on the 2500, it had that, and this gives you 2 for 4 channels. So if you're adding this into a system or you have a nice factory radio, you don't need anything else. You can go right into this thing. Okay, let's move this box out of the way. Whew, don't need that. All right, let's pull over the Lazy Susan. Get this bad boy on there. So let's look at the size, because I said small footprint. Actually, a lot of power, small footprint. Mounting tab to mounting tab, you are right under 14 inches. So if I pull the tape measure a little bit, it's actually less than 14. Height-wise, and there's a little gap for some airflow, you are about 2 1/8. So let's say with the gap, you're about 2 1/4. And then these amps right here are right at 5 inches. So small footprint. Now I'm going to turn on the Big Jeff cam.
Big Jeff cam activated.
And you can see you got 4 gauge inputs. I did already try. You can get 12 gauge in here, no problem. Do wish this was a little bit bigger. I will give you the pros and cons, but to keep such a small footprint, you have to sacrifice certain things. So you can go mono on each one. You do have protection, clip, and power, or you have 4 channels here, and 4 gauge fits in there, no problem. Or on the dyno testing, I'm going to do 0 to 4s. On this side, yes, you have RCAs, you have low pass, high pass, and full. So this can run your loudspeakers. You can do a high pass with, looks like, crossover from 50 to 5 kilohertz. Crossover settings because you have low pass and high pass. So if you have it on low pass, wherever you set the crossover point, it will go from there down. If you have it on high pass, wherever you set the crossover point, it will go from there up. You have the high to lows that we talked about, gain control, very simple, very compact. I will light this up. You'll be able to take a look. And my cameraman, Ben, can you hand me the new camera we got? It fell off. Now, I don't recommend you all taking these off ever, but I'm gonna do it to get up close and personal. Thank you, sir. Yes, we have a new close-up camera. We keep getting some new stuff here, and we try to make the videos better and better, more information, more real life. Being now that we have a dyno, we have the SPL labs, the term lab, we have the handheld, the basehead garage, so many ways to test it. Obviously, everybody looks at the 81 as the official way, and we will do that later. There we go. Okay, so I definitely don't recommend, even though the warranty sticker is on the bottom, we don't want to screw up the top, but there is ways to tell if somebody went ahead and cracked her open. No reason to be a Mr. Fix-It if you don't have to be. Okay, we got them off. We're gonna pull this off. There we go, plexiglass, B2 Audio logo. So let's try this new camera out. We're gonna get up close and personal. There we go. All right, yeah, that thing works pretty good. Okay, so I am not an amp guy, but what I can tell you is there's your LEDs right here. And they are on both sides. Let's spin this around, you can see them. And I do know that these are MOSFET chips, and the more you have, the more power it makes. And there is a bunch in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 14 on that side. So we have basically 2 power supplies. This is a 4-channel, and you can see they use rods here for the speaker outputs and also the power going into the board. Capacitors, if it does matter, it looks like 2200 microfarad, 63 volt. And this looks pretty secure in here. There is your mini board here, and that is the inside of this thing. Now let's talk about some specs. I'm gonna let this go. Okay, input sensitivity, 6 volts down to 0.4. What does that mean? This will work with a crappy radio, but recommend at least 4 volts and up. I use Kenwood, or if you're using a factory radio, plenty of voltage coming in. This is a Class D amplifier, frequency range 10 hertz to 40 kilohertz with a -3 dB. Power we talked about. Continuous power, RMS, and we're gonna prove that later. 4 ohms, 14.4, 1% PhD. This will do 300 watts times 4. You load her down to 2 ohms, which is very common these days, and you can get 450 watts. And then if you bridge this, it says basically 900 watts per set of channels, bridge down to 4 ohms, but we're gonna push and see if it'll do 2 ohms just to see what happens. But again, always stick to the rated configurations. Low pass, we said was 50 to 5K, high pass, same thing, 50 to 5K. Remember, the switch does down and up when you're setting this if you're not using a external. Now, I noticed on the website, it said 1 gauge input. I am gonna make sure they make a note of that, fix it, because it is 4 gauge for sure. We did use 0 gauge on the dyno, you'll see, but we used a reducer. And of course, now we have the Big Jeff Audio aluminum parts, and we have plenty of reducers to use, so that's what it is. Fuse rating, 150 amps. There is no fuse on the amp. Recommended to put one outside of it, and that is what is recommended. Operational voltage, down to 10 volts. I don't recommend, but it will play down to there. You will have a huge amount of resistance. It will cause heat, everything else along with it. But the amp will play up to 16 volts. I have hooked it up, and basically right at 16.2, then it'll shut off for protection. Right under that will come back on. Signal to noise ratio, 90 dB. Okay, so let's talk about pros and cons here. One, the footprint is incredible, and we will see from the dyno that it does its power or not. I love the RGB LED. Lighting is so fun. It looks good no matter what. I do like that it's very simple. There's a push button on this side, and I will show you that in a little bit. This actually has a microphone built in, so it will change to music or sounds, and then you can also have it on different patterns. And if you have multiples of these, say you have a nice big system and you're running a couple of the 2500s and a couple of these 1800s, you could probably put them together and make one big looking amp, and all the colors going to be really, really cool. Beautiful amp. I'm glad they came out with this Riot series. No, B2 Audio is not a budget brand. You are going to spend some money, but the quality's there. It's been like that for years. So for a price tag of $399, I really don't see a problem, especially if it's going to do that power in this small size and you get some good quality out of it. Remember, it is not just about the power, it is the guts. It is what it does and how it sounds. And I got to play with this earlier, and on some Neo speakers, it was just incredible sounding. It's hard to hear differences unless you have it side by side, and not everybody has a test room like this with all this stuff, but we do, and I can tell you there is a difference. That 2500 one, really clean sound on the bass. I didn't see dimmage in the lights. That stayed strong, no matter if we were up at 16 volts or down at 12 volts. So that was a beautiful thing. I was hoping that wasn't gonna happen. I love their look. It's a nice white pattern. The plexi is a nice added, and then you can't see it from there, but there's a small gap in between to allow airflow. Now, these amps do not have fans. Why is that? Do they need fans? Well, yeah, some amps do need fans to get the hot air out and cool air in, but generally under 3,000 watts, it can be fine without it. It also matters on the quality of the amplifier. Cheaper amps have less quality parts and will have more problems. Better amps, and not saying because it's a better amp, it doesn't need a fan. Just this particular style was tested, heated up. And in fact, through all the dyno testing that you're about to see, this thing really didn't go over 120 degrees. So
Now it's time to put it to the test.
all right, so we're gonna tune this first. Technically, we are tuned. Okay, so now we're gonna do a mono certified run. I'm gonna go back to certified, mono. We're gonna go to 4 ohm. We're gonna get track 4. Okay, we're gonna start dyno. Let's see what it is now. Let's see what the power is. Here we go. Okay, 1267 at 14. So there you go, there's your difference. 1467, and our voltage was a little bit lower. So I'm gonna put in here lower voltage. What was it? 13?
1267.
1267. That is way over 900 watts. That was incredible. We want to try to do it at 2 ohms. It's not rated for 2 ohms, but we are going to try a 2 ohm mono run. We're going to go 2 ohms. We're going to go to track 4. Pause. Here we go. 2 ohm. It's not rated at. Okay, so we got 1354 at 2 ohms. It's not rated at 2 ohms, but it did it. 13, what did I say it was? 1354. So there wasn't much difference. That was certified though. That was incredible. Wow, not expecting that at all. The paperwork, as you saw in the unboxing, was talking about 4 ohms bridged was going to be 900 watts at 14.4. We were right about 15 volts, which meant it did way over certified. So I guess the next thing is going to be uncertified. We're going to do uncertified at 4 ohm. Four ohm uncertified. We're going to go to track 3. Start dyno. Here we go. 4 ohm uncertified. We're right at 15 volts. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, 1341 at 14.67. Okay, uncertified. Uncertified, make some notes here. We're still in the mono, so we're gonna be 4 ohm uncertified. What was it?
1321.
1321. So we actually did a little bit less than certified. Don't ask me why. The voltage was a little bit lower, which could be the difference, but for a rated 900 watt mono amp, that was incredible. Okay, let me talk to you, everybody, explain this. So, showing the voltage difference on how much power produced. So we were at 15 volts, stay with me, and we were able to get the 1328. Getting down to about the 14 and change, we went down to 1267. It is so important in your vehicle that you have proper, not only voltage, but you have enough amperage to supply the amp and enough capacity, okay? So running these tests right now, let me change the camera here, okay? You have 3 40 amp banks and we have power supply. So in your vehicle, and that's just an 1800 watt amp. Now, the average person is not gonna put all that on an 1800 watt amp. But what I want to tell you is it's so important to have proper batteries. So many people buy product 3,000 watts and bigger and don't even have an extra AGM, and their car's only charging at 13 and change. So if you have the money for lithium, especially the Big Jeff lithium, you can do stuff like this. Now, is it that big of a deal if you didn't have the power? No, but longevity, clean power, all that's really important to get what these amps are capable of doing. So in real life, let's just say you were running 13 and a half. Yeah, I bet you at that 1 volt less from the 14.72 we just did, yeah, you'd probably be closer to 1,000 watts. So that shows you a difference in how important batteries and power is. And mech band alternators, you're talking about 500 bucks. I mean, this amp right here is $399. Why wouldn't you put a mech band alternator that would do so much for you? So we were able to do the mono runs. I'm just going to repeat back what we had. We had the mono 4 ohm certified 1328, and then at 14.5 volts we went down to 1267. It is only rated at 900 watts, so more for your money. It did do 2 ohm, but there was no big change or difference. Still over 1300 watts. Okay. Uncertified, we got 1321, and dynamic power 1309. So no matter how you look at it, this amp is on the mono side is over 1,000 watts, if not 12. You could technically, I think, would have no problem at 4 ohm running 2 750 watt subs on this, or 1 bigger sub because it's got power. So 400 bucks, you can put this amp in there, run one side with your mids and highs, and the other side to a sub or a couple subs for sure. RGB, all that, really cool. Great price, great quality, and the amp didn't even go above 99 degrees. So give me a minute. We're gonna unhook this up and get it back to stereo so we can go ahead and see what happens. We're back. We have this hooked up stereo. It's the first time doing stereo on the dyno. Nothing different except we hook up left and right, which we have here. We have left and right. We're using the rear. I have this set to full range and we are in. So let's get this ball rolling. So we're going to do a certified run and we're going to do 2-channel and we're going to go to 2 ohm, enter. It says track 4 or 9. Play and start dyno. Here we go. Okay, so this did pretty good. Wow, certified run. Now you can see here that we got 596 on channel 1 and we got 644 on channel 2. Now this amp is rated only at 450 watts at 2 ohms. So certified run, we killed it. Now, why do we get almost 50 some extra watts on one side? Voltage was a little bit higher. I'm not sure. Shorter run. I'm not really sure, but we're gonna at least go with the 596. So we got volts. Well, we're gonna say 596. And then we will check the replay on the amperage. Okay, so next would be 4 ohm. Go back to track 4. And we're gonna start dyno. Here we go, 4 ohm, 2-channel. Okay, that's a lot closer, 370 and 387. And if you remember during the unboxing, 4 ohm was supposed to get 300 watts. So we surpassed that certified. I'm gonna lock it in at the lower number even. Then we're gonna say at 4 ohm, we did 370. Hold on. And we're gonna say, what was the voltage there? Can you see it?
14.74.
14.74. So we surpassed certified numbers by the book. Again, the Riot 2500 surpassed it. The mono way past 900. So it seems like the amp actually does better when it's in that 14 range. And somebody told me it could be bottlenecking the amperage through the power rods that connect it. Possibly. If you know, put it in the comments. So just to rehash, we were able, on mono, we were able to get 1328 certified at 162 amps at 15 volts. We went down to 1267 at 4 ohms when we just went down right under 15 volts. Mono at 2 ohm, which it's not rated to do, still did 1354 certified. And then we had a 4 ohm uncertified of 1341. The amp's only rated 900 and we got well over 1200 for sure. I mean, this is a great amp. It does its power and then some. And we have hit this back to back. And then think how many times we've hit this off camera. The amp is still sitting at 102. Incredible amp. So there's your dyno test. We'll post all the results and the efficiency. I'm not sure how important people are with efficiency, but for $399, you get an RGB amp that would technically run a nice small system, or it would be awesome to run a ton of mids and highs. Okay, this was incredible. Listen, I'm Big Jeff. Hit that like button. Leave a good comment. I do my best. We keep changing and adapting and adding to the room and doing more and more. We just got our SMD dyno in finally, and we've been using that like crazy. Thank you to everyone. Share this out if it's on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, right? Spread the love. And thank you so much supporting my platform. Big Jeff Audio helps us do all these giveaways and these videos and things like that. And big shout out to B2 Audio and B2 Audio USA for having Big Jeff as one of their main distributors and opening us up to things like this. to come. And there is a lot of new product. I am told in January, there's a container coming of like 12 to 15 new SKUs. I know what they are, but you're gonna have to wait to see. But stuff like this. Also, the 0 amps are coming back, the 06, a 12, and a 15. Yes, and the zeros are rated, not that's the number. It doesn't just do 6,000 or 12 or 15. It does way more Korean amps. And they will be here probably right after this video is broadcast. So stay tuned. Hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, do it now. I'm Big Jeff from BigJeffAudio.com, representing B2 Audio. It can never be too loud. I'll see you on the next video.